Normally, when you have a function, you can only use the information inside of it, but there are situations where you need more information than what is already here. We are going to make a part that destroys whatever touches it. When we write the function, we don't know what the specific part is going to be, so we're going to have to use parameters. First, insert a part and make sure that the part is anchored, or else it's just going to fall and destroy the base plate and everything else it touches along its way. And let's go ahead and drag that over near our spawn point. Move it up a little bit. Make sure it's not touching anything or else it's going to destroy everything. And we're going to rename it to trap part. Now we just need to do the scripting for it. We can just add a script inside of that part, or if you already have a script, just drag it in there. But we're only going to use one script. Let's rename this script to trap script. It's important to name everything so you can keep everything nice and organized. As usual, we'll delete the regular stuff and write a comment saying what the script is going to do. In this case, we want it to destroy everything that touches it, so we can just say destroys whatever touches the part. Next, we're going to assign the part to a variable named trap. Let's see if you remember how to do that. The way we do that is we always write local for declaring a variable. Trap equals to, since the script is inside of the part, that part is now the parent of the script, we can just do script.parent to refer to that part. Remember, we want to get into the habit of making variables whenever possible, especially when it's attached to something that we're going to use several times. Remember how I said earlier that we use parameters when we need information that we don't have yet? Well, I'll show you exactly how that works. We're going to make a function that deletes whatever touches our trap. To delete a part, you need something like workspace.part :destroy, which is a built-in method that destroys whatever part you wrote before it. Problem is, we don't know what specific part is going to touch our trap, so we need to use a parameter that will act as a placeholder. If you still don't understand what a parameter is, let me show you with a real-life example. Let's say that I tell you whenever you see an animal inside the house, then remove it. When I tell you this instruction, we don't know what animal is going to show up. It could be a horse, it could be a frog, it could be a cat, but still, you know, whenever an animal goes inside the house, you're going to remove it from the house. I use the word animal as a placeholder, so it doesn't matter what kind of animal goes into the house, as long as it's an animal, you know, oh, I gotta remove it. You see how the word animal is the placeholder when we don't know the specific type of animal that's going to show up. Same thing here, we don't know what specific part is going to touch the trap, so we're going to use a placeholder. And if you still don't understand, don't worry, we're going to write this all out and I'll show you. To use a parameter, first we're going to need a function, so let's do local function and the function name parentheses. This is where you write the name of the parameter inside of the parentheses. This is the typical layout of a function, right? Local function and then the name of the function here. And inside the parentheses is where we write the parameter or the placeholder that we can then use here. We don't know exactly what this is yet, but we could still use it inside of our function. And later on, it'll tell us what it is. We're going to use something called an event to detect when the part is touched. An event is just some code that waits for a specific thing to happen and then it does something. Our event is going to wait and listen until our trap part is touched by anything. Then we're going to attach a function that deletes the part that touched it. Whenever you use an event, you have to give it a function that will happen whenever the event is triggered. So the way it works is whenever the event is triggered, the function will run. In our case, whenever this part is touched, whatever function we attach to it will run. Let's start with the function. Let's make a normal function like we do, and we're going to name it onTouch. Like this. The reason we do this is because the event we're going to be used is called touched. So typically you want the function that you're attaching to be named something along the lines of the event. You can name your function whatever you want, but to keep things nice and organized, I recommend that you name the function something related to the event. Let's see if you can write the function onTouch by yourself. The way you do it is local function onTouch and then the parentheses, and then the end. And remember, I told you that the parameter or the placeholder is going to be in the parentheses, and we're just going to name it object touched. Before we get into deleting the part, I'm just going to write print something touched the trap to see that our function is connected to the event and everything's working properly. Now I'll show you how to attach a function to an event. Events are built into objects just like properties are, and different objects have different events, just like different objects have different properties. Every part in Roblox has a touched event that detects when it has been touched, obviously. We'll need to attach this event to the function that we made. It's really easy, and this is how you do it for any event. First, you write the object that you want to use the event on. We're using it on the trap part. We already have the variable for that part up here, so we can just go ahead and write the object, which is trap. Then we write a dot like we're accessing a property, like name or transparency, but we're not accessing a property. If you scroll down, you can see it says touched right here. You can either click it here or type it out. All of the things that you see with this little lightning icon are events that you can use. So go ahead and write touched. Now we're going to use a colon write the word connect because we're connecting this event to the function. And in the parentheses, you go ahead and write the name of the function you want to attach it to. And it's called onTouch in our case. So this is how you will go about writing an event for any object that you want to connect to a function. You start with the object, assigning it to the trap, and we're waiting for the trap to be touched. The next part is the event. In our case, it's touched, and we're connecting that event to a function, the function that we made up here. So to recap, this assigns a variable to our trap part. We made a function with a parameter up here, but we never used the parameter inside the function yet, so it doesn't really do anything. So what this function does do is print something touched the trap. And what this event does is it takes the trap, it's going to make it wait until it's touched. And whenever the part is touched, it's going to run the onTouch function. And what does the onTouch function do? It prints something touched the trap. So every time that the part is touched, it should print out something touched the trap. Let's see if that happens. Let's go ahead and test it out. And we go ahead and touch the part. You see it print out a million times something touched the part because we touched the part with our hands, our torso, or whatever. If this didn't work for you, make sure whatever you put in the parentheses in the print statement was a string. Now we can change the function to actually destroys the part. Remember, this represents anything that touched the trap. So what do we want to do with anything that touched the trap? We want to destroy it. And the way we do that is with the method capital D destroy and parentheses. Let's see if this works. Oh, wow. Yeah, that definitely looks like it works to me. Let's see, you see it destroying all the parts that touches it? So to summarize, the trap is the script's parent, which is the part we made right here. We made a function named onTouch that has a parameter, and this parameter represents any part that touches the trap part. And what this function does is print something touched the trap, and whatever object touched the trap, we destroy it. And this event just makes the part wait until it's been touched. Whenever the part is touched by anything, it runs the function that we told it to run right here. And what function did we tell it to run? The one we made here. And that destroys whatever object touched the trap. And it prints out something touched the trap. Something that the documentation didn't mention is the reason why we can use this parameter in particular. And the reason is that sometimes events pass on parameters. And I'll show you what I mean by this. I'm here on the documentation for the part. And here, if you scroll down, it tells you every single property of the part, every single method of the part, and even all the events. So we're going to go down to events inherited from base part. That just means anything that is a part in Roblox has these events. And here we can see the touched event. And this is the event that we've been using, and it fires when a part touches another part as a result of physical movement. This event passes on a parameter, as you see right here, of other part. What this means is that whenever we use the touched event, we already have this parameter of anything that touched the part. If we attach this function to a different event, not the touched event, it probably won't work the same way. For example, if you look at this event, even though it's old, it doesn't pass anything on. Outfit change, it doesn't have anything in the parentheses. On here, it passes on the part that just touched it, and it tells us that this is going to be a base part. That's the data type that it's going to be. Everything that touches it is going to be a part. If we pass it on to another event that uses a base part, the function will still work. It'll just destroy the part that stops touching it. Let's actually try that out. Touch ended. All we changed is the event. Everything else stays the same. And it should destroy a part that stops touching it. See, nothing destroyed yet. What if I jump? Oh, there we go. Well, that's all out of the testing I can do because I don't have any legs. I can't even jump. Okay, wow. So the only reason we were even able to use this parameter with this event is because the event passes on parameters. Just remember that. All you need to know for this really is that whenever you use the touched event, it'll give you the part that just touched it. You can name the parameters whatever you want. Something people often do with the touched event is name the parameter hit, like whatever hit the part. And then you can print trap was hit by, and then you can write hit dot name, because everything that's inside the print statement has to be a string, and the name of whatever hit it is always going to be a string. Go ahead and test that. I removed the deleting. I'm just showing you that you can name the parameter whatever you'd like and use it however you would like. You see, trap was hit by right arm, by the humanoid root part, by head, by torso. There's a lot you can do with parameters. So to summarize, we use parameters in functions when we don't know the specific information that we want. We know we want to do something with the part that touched the trap, but we don't know exactly what that part is going to be. So whenever we do find out, it'll fill it in for us, and you can see here, maybe it's the right arm, maybe it's the head, maybe it's whatever. And we can connect these functions to events like we did here, trap.touch connect, and then the name of the function. And sometimes these functions pass on parameters like the touched event, and it gives us information we don't know yet, like what hit the part in particular. Little joke. It's a little confusing, but don't worry. I'll have a practice project coming out soon, and we can go over all of this and help it make more sense to you if you don't understand it already.